Dan Sodergren is a futurologist and tech expert, and we can speak to him now. Dan, is this just another step towards us living in a completely digital world?
I don't know if we're ever going to live in a completely digital world. That sounds like a virtual reality, but of course there's lots of people pushing us towards a virtual reality as well, and I suppose it's up to you if you buy all the kit to do that. My advice is to get out into the real world and enjoy real life, but that's a very different conversation. But certainly a lot of technology is taking over. You're absolutely right, but there's a reason for this, and it's all to do with, and by the way, in no way am I defending this move, it's just the fact that this is happening. So it's all to do with, without going too techy, it's all to do with spectrums and things. It's all to do with 3G basically being retired. I don't know if you've ever seen on your phone, it might have a little number up at the top there on your mobile phone, and like 3G, 4G, or H, or E+, and all these other different things. And I won't get into what they all mean, but the 3G bit, which was a long time ago, is this first thing that came out. It's like the equivalent of a muddy road, let's put it that way, and 4G is like a motorway. There you go. So there's a nice analogy. So they're retiring all the muddy roads, and unfortunately that means that a lot of these things that run on 3G, which includes kind of more basic things, including parking, etc., it has nowhere to go. So they have to either completely update the whole network onto 4G, which they think is too expensive for them, or they get rid of them and we all use parking apps.
But this will be a massive inconvenience for people who perhaps don't have a smartphone to download these apps and use them.
Well, yeah, I mean, to tell my age as well, because I still use the word smartphone, but if you talk to my daughter who's 12, and they just call them phones, of course, because there's no such thing as a smartphone. It's just
they have no idea of what they used to look like, so...
No, precisely, no concept. We even have to say dumb phone if I was talking about my Nokia phone. I'd say, look, well, why the hell would you use that? Now, the thing is, and this is one of the things that's true about life, is that not a huge number of people still have one of those phones. And so it's about numbers. And I'm not defending it, but I think what they'll say is not very many people just have one of these types of phones. And by the way, you can still do it through text and other things. So you don't have to have a smartphone. However, everyone in life is putting themselves at a slight disadvantage at the moment, because even a relatively non-advanced smartphone doesn't cost a huge amount of money, and you can get them on very, very decent tariffs. So there is a bit of an argument that says, well, actually everyone really should get a phone which is good. Just like, I don't know, you might say you might want to get a car that runs on petrol or something. It's almost like a basic need now. But I'm not defending it. I'm just saying that would be the argument. And it's the same with getting rid of 3G. Most data goes through 4G at the moment. It's about 90% of the data goes through those things. So very, very few. However, as percentages, it's still millions of people. So I think the government should be doing more and actually should be helping these people with low-tech things. But they'd argue, well, I'm afraid it's percentages.
Is it more efficient anyway to pay by an app and better than cash?
I think it's most probably more efficient and better on both sides. There's most probably more profit on one side, and it's most probably more efficient and quicker on the other side too. So, let's not kid ourselves. A lot of these decisions are made for financial reasons, and councils have obviously got a squeeze from top government as well, because they don't have as much funding. And one of the quickest ways they'll be thinking is, well, actually, if everyone, if you put the responsibility back onto the consumer, so to speak, and you have to have the app and you have to have downloaded stuff, it means they don't have to replace all the machines, and it saves them millions of pounds. And you could argue that's most probably no bad thing, because local councils should put the money into helping people with other things, rather than the fact they don't have a phone that allows them to have an app.
But at the same time, when you say that this is the way things are going anyway, maybe there should be more help for those people who aren't really au fait with the technology to give them those skills.
Yeah, absolutely, and we're creating a bit of a digital divide. And again, I'm more left-wing than Trotsky, so I've got to be careful here. But it is a political thing, this. So I would like to have more help in society for those who are affected by the digital divide, and that's just education points, but it's also helping them even financially. To kind of get these kind of machines, or subsidising these things, because not being able to be connected in the right way, I think now is a bit like a human right. It's like not being able to have running water. Everyone's not be able to have, having toilets that are outside, etc. We kind of move past this moment in life, and unfortunately, a lot of older people are still wondering. But I must confess as well, we sometimes paint this picture that it's old people that don't know how to use technology. It's actually not true. Civil service are the fastest growing demographic to actually use the internet than there is of anything else. So we can't always say, oh, well, old folk can't do it. But if they can't, they should be helped by the government and helped by people to do so. And, and that's a social move that unfortunately is beyond my pay grade.
Dan, good to speak to you. Thank you. That's Dan Sodergren, a futurologist and tech expert.